shows how much I follow this sport, right? That I had no idea he was even in the meet. But after the fact, it makes sense, man. Like this guy, this not even this guy, this team is incredible. And the fact that Colin runs 358, two other guys run 757 and 801 in the 3K. This Newberry Park team is a once in a generation type squad. We're gonna have more sub fours in our lifetime every year, or wherever, every 3 years. But to have three guys on the same team,
Mhm.
technically four, because the fourth guy, I'm not sure if he ran, one of the other
Yeah.
Youngs, but Colin Sahlman, 358, very impressive. I mean, literally last year we had Hobbs Kessler running 357. And now this year we're
Mhm.
having Colin Sahlman run 358, and we know that he has three teammates who are probably going to do the same thing next year. It's incredible. 13th high schooler ever to run sub 4 in the mile,
Mhm.
and they're turning sub 4 into it's the new sub 405. Like
Mhm.
these kids are just running and running, and I don't think it's ever going to come to an end. I think sub 4 10 years from now is going to be the new standard.
Yeah. Third fastest ever indoor behind Kessler and Hunter. And what was really impressive was how he closed off of this pace. And he won this race. He won this race against some guys who are much more experienced than he is. He was eighth at halfway. He was fourth at the bell, then closes in a 27-second last 200 to get the wins. I mean, it's a one thing to run it in a pro race where you're in the middle and then you move up a little bit throughout. But I really liked his racing instincts, and I liked the way he was able to accelerate off of that pace and close in 27 seconds. I think this is going to become the norm. I mean, I've said it before. We expected him to break 4 this year. I think we're going to get to a point where if you want to be the fastest miler in the country in high school, you're going to need to break 4. I think we're headed in that direction. Now, I know this is only the 13th person to do it, but the trend lines are pretty clear. We got 3 years in a row now with the sub 4. I think we're going to see multiple guys this year do it. And when I was digging into the numbers and looking for more info on the race, I went last night, mile split. It wasn't even the top headline. I mean, that's how quickly we move on from this now. Like, was not it, several years ago, if someone broke 4, that would be the entire conversation of the weekend, at least in terms of distance running in track and field. And now you go there and it's like, all right, it's expected. What's up next? What's up next for them? Obviously, Webb's record is something special, the 353, and that I put out there. But as we talked about before, 359, 358, that's a long way from 353. So we can get a lot more guys, I think, under 4 minutes. Doesn't necessarily mean they're going to run what Webb did or run what Jim Ryan did, but this is going to develop into the new normal. And I think the most encouraging thing about Sahlman, I think, is just the way he closed within this race and the names of the people he beat in this race, Gordon.
Yeah, and Coach Sean Brosnan tweeted out more to come because again, it wasn't just Colin Sahlman with a great race.
Right.
I mean, the fact that uh, the other two guys ran what 757 and 801 in a 3K.
Yeah.
I mean, Colin, Aaron, Lex, and Leo. It's a it's a crazy four that they have there of the pair of brothers. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, when I look at the splits, that easily could have if he would have went out, he probably had an extra 2 seconds available in that race. Looking at the way he
Yeah.
closed in 27, he goes out in 31.5 and the 30.3. I mean, his opening
Yeah.
400 is 101.8. That is
Yeah.
not the typical for first time ever sub 4 miler. They're not going out
Yeah.
in 101.8. The first ever sub 4
Right.
miler in your career is normally like a 59, right? Because you gotta like
A little bit of
bank all
buffer.
the seconds you can, to give yourself a little bump. And then how many times do you see someone attempt to break 4, go through 1200 and 301 point and be like,
Yeah.
yeah, all right, it's not going to happen. Like, they'll
Mhm.
find like 402, 404, 403.
Yeah.
But no, he had the wheels to run that 27 last 200. And I think it shows that you talk about 353 as like the new barrier now that we should be eyeing for these Newberry Park guys. You're closing in 27. That
Yeah,
is
yeah, yeah,
353 type talent. You know, he now just needs to
yeah,
get in a good race. He needs to get obviously a little more fitter.
yeah.
I could see it happening. I don't think it's out of the question.
My point by bringing up 353 is that there's just a big difference between what the high school national record was and what sub 4 was. And I think everything kind of got thrown together of like Webb broke 4 in high school and so did Hobbs Kessler and so did all these other guys. Well, yeah, but there's just a lot of difference between a 353 and a 359 high. If you think about that on the professional level, right? How much different someone would be in a diamond league with 353 capability versus 359 capability. So there is another level up you have to go to get to Allen Webb. I'm not saying everybody is all of a sudden going to come Allen Webb overnight. I just think we're going to have a situation where more often than not, you're going to need to break 4 if you want to be the national high school leader at the end of the year. That's just what's going to happen. In terms of Newberry Park, you brought up Lex Young, 757, just missed Nico's mark. And then Aaron Sahlman, 801 in the 3K. Now, I know the 3K is not run a ton, but if you look at the all time 3K list, you got some big names there. You have Drew Hunter on that list, right? You have Nico Young on that list. Aaron Sahlman, who was Newberry Park's 4th guy in cross country, is number 4 all time in the 3K for high school in a list that includes, again, if we pull up this list, all time high school boys 3K, Nico Young, Lex Young, Drew Hunter, Aaron Sahlman, then a guy named Ches, and then a guy named Jerry Lindgren and Lucas Verspikis. Those are high school legends, all of them. Again, the guy who's 4th on that list was Newberry Park's 4th guy during cross country. And not 4th in a fluke. He was 4th several times throughout the season.
That's hilarious. Their fourth runner just ran multiple seconds better than Ed Cheserek, Gary Lindgren, and Lucas Verspikis. It's insane. It is absolutely bonkers. And what's great about this group of 4, right? 3 of them
Yeah.
are coming back, right? They're only
Mhm.
one senior, so we get to kind of do this Newberry Park craze for another whole year after this. Like
Yeah.
we're not even finished with this year, and I'm already thinking about next year. You know, like when you're 1 year away from being a year away when you're following a sports team. I'm already thinking about this is like the I mean, dare I say it? We're like in the
Oh, no. No, please
I
don't.
won't say it. I
Please
won't
don't.
say it.
You almost went a whole
Listen,
segment without
compare.
talking about the yeah, don't do it. Don't do it.
I
Cole, you
won't
might
do
need
it.
to cut his
Okay, I
mic.
won't do it. Yeah, don't cut
Newbury
my
Park's
mic.
great.
But
Newbury Park's really fast.